Well, hello there, everybody. You are watching The Main Viewer. Boy, we've got so much to talk about today. You wouldn't even believe it, but try. We're going to be talking about Star Trek Prodigy because that is coming back in a couple days. Finally, the wait is over for more Prodigy. We're going to be talking about our hopes for Star Trek in 2022. Can you believe it's already 2022? It seems like it's one of those futuristic times what you'd hear when you're a kid, in the year 2022. Well, it's here and we're going to talk about it. We're also going to talk about our Star Trek Bestie. That's going to be lots of fun. And Marie's going to tell us about some crazy Strange New Worlds. Sorry, crazy Picard news.
You had one job.
I have like
there is
6
news for both. Okay.
and so much more. Anyway, let's get to it. Everybody at home, please welcome our special guest today. We've got the ship's computer, the voice of the ship's computer, that is, on Star Trek Prodigy, Bonnie Gordon, aka Bonnie Belgie.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. Woohoo! Let's trek out together.
Yes.
You also know him as a geneticist. You know him as an occasional Star Trek science advisor. You might also know him as the Dean of Natural Sciences at Duke University. We know him as, well, all those things. Dr. Mohammed Noor.
Hi, everybody. Always a pleasure to be on The Main Viewer. Thanks for having me back.
And also, you cannot spell meteorologist Katie Nicolau without two-time Emmy Award nominee meteorologist Katie Nicolau. That's too much things to say.
It really is, but hey, how's it going?
And I know I should have said too many, not too much. Sorry, guys. Dr. Anne-Marie Siegel is also here, who nods when I acknowledge my faults.
Oh,
Thanks for having me.
All right. So, my name's Ryan T. Husk. Hey. All right. So let's talk about this. There's so much news today. We've got a lot to talk about, but first and foremost, the elephant in the room is finally we're returning to Star Trek Prodigy. We had 7 weeks of Discovery. 6 of those were without Prodigy, right? We had one glorious day in November that felt like 1993 all over again, with 2 episodes dropping at the same time. Whew.
What a time to be a Trekkie.
Bonnie, just so everybody knows how uber talented you are, can you just give us like one line as the Prodigy ship's computer?
Sure. I do a lot of red alert, unable to comply, access denied.
nice.
Wow.
Spoiler alert.
Thank you.
There's gonna be a
Seamless.
red alert
Yeah.
somewhere in the series.
Yeah, or as I've already done red alert, so that was no spoiler. But no, or as some people like to say for my voice, hello and welcome. Thank you for calling Verizon. Like it's basically it's like that.
That's very good.
Heck yes.
You ever do?
For Klingon, press 4. Yeah.
Do you ever do commercials,
Awesome.
like commercial voiceover?
It's funny, I don't really do too many. I have a great commercial demo, and I've yet to really book any commercials. So if you're listening and go, gee golly, wouldn't she be delightful talking about Dixie cups? Give me a call.
Oh, yeah.
My goodness, that Geico insurance could benefit from her voice.
You guys remember that Geico caveman back in the day? Can we bring
Yeah,
him back?
Wow, yeah.
Yes.
I liked him.
He was my
He
favorite.
was cool. We could have
sad when
been
he was
buddies. We could have been
We like
drinking
the
buddies.
lizard, though. The
Oh,
lizard's
that guy was
cool.
awesome.
The lizard's
No,
fine.
no, not even. The lizard is. The lizard is all right. This is our first war of the day. Everybody in the live chat, Geico caveman or Geico gecko?
Oh.
Choose wisely. Let us know who your favorite is. Katie, these were before you were born. Sorry to say.
Yeah. I vaguely remember them when I was like 5, maybe.
Yeah. All right. So while they're deciding in the live chat, let's talk about Prodigy a little bit. Bonnie, can you just walk us through the first 5 episodes have dropped? By the way, everybody, Bonnie has joined the 7th Rule, Sirach and I, to review Prodigy, and she will be returning this week for episode 6 and forevermore after that. Just kidding. But
forevermore.
maybe.
I mean, I just keep
so.
getting stuck in the Zoom meetings. So, isn't this the same one? It's just like a rotation. I haven't moved from this chair in months.
Prodigy hostage.
Yeah.
But how awesome is it for the first 5 episodes to actually see this thing that you've probably been working on for like 2 years, at least a year, but probably 2 from beginning to end, to see it come to fruition? Is it as good? Is it better? Is it not as good as you expected?
Oh, it's 20 times better. Honestly, I knew it was going to be special once I started working on it and, doing scratch, getting the scripts every few weeks. And now it's just solidified my premonition, I guess I should say, but seeing the reaction that everyone's had with it, especially seeing people introduce Star Trek to their kids, and it being the introduction to Star Trek to this younger generation, to where now they're like, they want more, and it's their introduction to now starting to watch Next Generation and Voyager, and being a part of something that introduces the youngins to this universe is so special. And I just wish I had a show like this when I was younger, to get me into Star Trek, because I became a Trekkie later in life. And if I had something like this to kind of be the gateway into the Trek universe, I think I would have been a Trekkie way, way earlier.
What was your gateway?
Working the Star Trek experience in Las Vegas.
Love that.
Really?
By the way, opened
Anniversary.
today 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh
Today is the
my
anniversary
God.
of the
Yeah.
opening of January 4th,
Day after Deep
1994.
Space Nine's birthday.
And people, this is exactly why we had Bonnie on, to celebrate the
Yes,
Star Trek
surprise!
experience 20-year anniversry in
Is it
Las
20?
Vegas,
It
Nevada,
feels like that's not
at the
long
Hilton.
enough. Hold on. Was it 20 or was it 20 years that they? It's something like this.
Wasn't it
It's
during-
I
one
know
of
it
these
existed
years.
while I was alive. At
First
least
opened
No,
that.
it's one more
24 years ago today. I was.
It
I
existed
was-
for 1 year after I was born.
That's the year I worked it. I was part of the
Yay!
closing cast. Yeah. So that
What
was
did
my
you do?
introduction to Star Trek. I was one of the actors. I was one of the Starfleet officers. So, and I kind of wish I could go back in time and do it all over again, knowing what I know about Star Trek now. I think I would have just been so much more appreciative of standing on the bridge in a Starfleet uniform, talking to Commander Riker on a screen.
Yes.
To me, it was like, oh, this is fun. I mean, I've always been a fan of fantasy and sci-fi. So to me, it was like, oh, this is really cool, and I'm part of something really fun. And now I'm like, oh, I took so much for granted. Why didn't I take more pictures? I should have had a camera on me at all times. And I don't have any pictures of me in uniform except for like 3. Because
So when you started the job, you had never actually seen an episode before?
I'd seen a few, but
Okay.
I wasn't enriched in the Trek universe as I am now.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Did you
Gotcha.
live in Vegas while this? I mean, were you already in Vegas and then you got this job, or did you move to Vegas for this job?
Oh, I wish I could say I moved to Vegas for Star Trek, but that was not the case. I was living in Orlando. So I left Louisiana after Katrina, lived in Florida, working for Disney World, got cast in a show outside of Disney called Tony and Tina's Wedding, and they transferred me to the Vegas cast after a year
Nice.
of working in that show. So there's my little nomad history. But yeah, I was living in Vegas, and then I was like, oh, I'm going to audition for this sci-fi improv show that makes you wear spandex. Let's do it. And it was
Lets
fun.
you wear
Wait, but did you
spandex,
have a front zip or a back zip uniform?
Oh no, it was the front. It was the Next Generation, full on body leotard, that was
Wow.
not forgiving. I don't think I could pull it off now like I did back then. I was a lot thinner when I lived in Vegas, but man, it does not allow you to have any flaws. Like you can't even wear real underwear with it. You had to wear like special thongs and because you could see panty lines. I know that's I don't know if
If you're
that's
in
too
command
risque to
division.
say. Yeah.
If you're in
No, it's
command division,
okay.
you can go commando. I think it just rolls with the roll.
I guess so. I mean, they would clean our uniforms every day. They had like a costume department. So I mean, it was amazing. But yeah, those costumes did not allow for any you had to really suck it in when you were.
Did you get to keep your costume?
You know, we weren't supposed to. And a lot of people were able to sneak theirs out. And I was not one of the few that were able to get mine out of there. I tried. I had like a little bag and I was like, oh no, there's nothing in here. But yeah, they were being
Oh.
very,
Bonnie,
they were being very,
you and Sirach should exchange war stories about spandex and see who had it
worse.
There, I do want to point out a couple quick things. Number one is, much to my dismay, it looks like the live chat is going with the gecko. And come on, you guys.
what?
Yay, animals.
Yeah, there are very few people that are choosing
Team
the
Caveman?
I'm surprised.
Whoa.
Becca says
Yeah, that's my
caveman.
brother's girlfriend. Becca.
Nice. And Anne Marie says caveman.
Yeah, but my mom said gecko.
Yay,
Yeah.
Marianne.
Aw.
You know
we also
what? You
wanna
know what?
say-
I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. It's the accent. People just love that
Yeah.
accent.
It is a cool
you know,
accent.
the caveman
Plus, I
didn't
could
really
take
have
him in a
one.
fight.
Yeah, but he's so wild.
It's Cockney accent, right? Marie?
It's,
Like Marina's.
Australian.
Probably something.
I think it's
I
Cockney.
think
Australian.
it's Australian.
It's Australian.
Dork.
He's a
It's
Geico
Australia.
in Australia.
A Cockney accent.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. But
makes
then
no
I
sense.
think there was like an argument online about it like years ago.
Yeah.
Like,
Interesting.
and then people like looked it up and they said it was
Oh my God.
Cockney. I'm like, but it doesn't sound
No,
Cockney.
he doesn't sound like
Well,
Well,
crazy.
I
all right,
don't think it's
chat. This is the new war. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
It is. It is.
Is it
I'm telling you,
Australian
I
or
think,
Cockney?
I think it was settled that it was Cockney.
It's an Australian Geico. Gecko. What, the words.
We also want to say very quickly a hello to our good buddy Amy Imhoff. Hi, Amy. It's not usually like this. And also
These VPL discussions need to be had.
also a belated happy birthday again to Melissa Longo, who's in the live chat. Her birthday
Happy
was yesterday.
birthday.
Lisa.
And happy birthday to Dr. Mohammed Noor, whose birthday was just 3 days ago on New Year's
Happy
Day.
birthday, Mohammed.
Yes.
Wow. It's birthday week. Anyway. All right. So lastly on the Star Trek experience, because this is just too good not to talk about. I had been a bunch of times. In fact, one of my favorite memories was, years ago with my buddy Darth. He was my roommate, and we kind of got up one morning hanging out, and I was like, "Oh, I'm not working today." He said, "Me neither." And we're like, "Do you want to fly over to Quark's bar for lunch?"
Shut up.
And we
Ah.
totally did. We just got on a plane real quick because we were right by the Burbank airport, shot over to Vegas, took a cab to Quark's bar, had lunch, screwed around for 2 hours, flew back, and that was our day. But the question
Amazing.
is,
Wow.
Mohammed, Anne Marie, and Katie, have you been to the Star Trek experience in Las Vegas?
Katie wasn't old enough. I can
I
tell you
wasn't
right
20
now.
yet.
I
You
was
don't
not
have to
old
be
enough.
21.
But I did have a cool thing because I did go to the Broadcast Educators Association conference back in a couple years ago, which was at the Westgate. And I could see the faded out from where the sign was. The paint was still a little bit brighter, and I could
Oh.
see Star Trek: The Experience. And they turned the holodeck arch into a gift shop. So that's as much as I got as I touched the arc. And I was like, this is disappointing. And then walked away.
For all
Maybe
you
you-
listeners, if you go to Vegas and you go to the Westgate and you sign up to do their timeshare area is where like all of Quark's and like the warp core, like you can still see the warp core, all like
Really?
the walls.
Oh.
Okay,
They
I've
didn't
never been
change
so interested in
anything.
timeshares.
I snuck in
What?
there. Maybe I shouldn't say this on a broadcast, but I snuck in there and took some pictures, and a lot of it is the same because it's too expensive for them to take down all of that stuff. So, but they just call it like the space room or something crazy. But I
Oh,
believe that's where they
gosh.
do their timeshares and special events. So that's your little clue of the day to go and sneak in and do a timeshare and take a picture of
think
the
I'm
warp
gonna
core.
sneak in.
Life hack.
Yeah,
That's
next
gonna
fif-
happen now.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's where
56-year
Quark's-
mission. We're going there.
It looks like the
Yes.
DS9 promenade a little bit, and then Quark's bar was there, and yeah, it's where they serve like hors d'oeuvres while you're talking about your
Yum.
timeshare benefits. So yeah,
Oh my
Wow.
gosh. I would
I
do
mean, I'm not sure-
anything for them to revive that and just bring it back.
yeah, I wish they really.
You and everybody else. Oh my God. It was the most glorious thing ever. They had 2 rides. Bonnie,
There
I
were
can tell you were on the first one. The second one was later on. It was the 4D Borg
The Borg
experience.
Invasion. Yeah, I didn't
Right.
get I didn't get trained on that one. There wasn't time to train me, but
Mhm.
I was
And they
going
had-
to.
They had Klingons and Andorians walking around and Vulcans, and they would just
Ferengi.
come up to you and just talk to you while you're eating your rings of Beta Z.
Onion
which were
rings.
just onion
Onion
rings,
rings.
yeah, and the hamburger
Yep.
and Deanna
When I
Choi's
tell you-
chocolate martini.
Yep.
gonna
The
go
I
get
would
my
quit my
picture from
job
there.
right now if
The
I
Warp
could
Core
go and
breach.
work there.
Oh
It
yeah,
was
I've heard
amazing.
about
They
this
had-
Warp Core
Wow.
breach and
The Warp Core
official.
breach could mess you up so badly. It was a drink. It would be smoking.
Oh my gosh.
It was not for one person. It was definitely a shared experience.
Oh.
And the Ferengi would be in the gift shop, like haggling prices. It was great. It was great.
What was
Oh
the Borg
my
Invasion
gosh.
thing?
Borg Invasion was you're passing through, and the doctor from Voyager pops up on a screen, and basically you've all been scanned as you walk through, and they're basically saying one of you has a special like genetic code that could be
Ooh,
resistant
genetics.
to the Borg assimilation, and then I guess the Borg finds out, so they're attacking the space station that you're on, and when that happens, a Starfleet officer comes through, with like a phaser and like bleeding from the head. It's like, we have to get you out of here, so you're running through the ship, through the station, and like things are sparking, and you're running to get onto a ship, and as when you get onto the ship is like the ride. It's like a 4D experience, and like a 4D theater where you put on
Cool.
goggles, and then Voyager comes to save you.
Aw.
Captain Janeway comes because the Borg attack, and
That's so sweet.
if anyone's gonna take the Borg head on, it's gonna be Janeway.
It's definitely going to be Janeway. That's true.
Mhm.
Oh
That's
my gosh.
amazing.
Girl,
That sounds.
it was
That
fun.
sounds so phenomenal.
I'm gonna
The
start
best-
a letter writing campaign to get this thing back because I need
was
to
amazing.
experience it.
The best
Ooh.
was they were trying to open the door to get you loaded into the room, and it's nothing's working, and so one of the Starfleet officers is like, everyone, look out, and they shoot it with a phaser and it explodes. It's all timed, pyrotechnics.
Oh.
And as they're like ushering people in, a Borg arm comes through the ceiling, grabs them, and pulls them up through the ceiling. So they're attached to a harness, and all you do is see a Borg arm jump down there and like carries them up into the ceiling as if it's like pulling them up to assimilate them. It was the coolest thing ever.
Did it
It
have
was
the Borg
amazing.
Queen in it too, or
better
no queen?
be.
On the screen they did, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh, I need to see a walkthrough of this now. That's what's gonna
You
happen. after
can
this.
go look up on YouTube. There's walkthroughs of both the Borg side and the Next Generation
Oh,
Klingon
gosh.
encounter side.
That's amazing.
It makes me
It
so
was
happy
amazing.
and so incredibly sad. I can't go there.
It was the
I do
greatest
wish
thing
they
ever.
I do wish they would bring it back. It was
Sorry to say.
definitely special. And now I have my friend Q gifted me with a bunch of Star Trek the Experience gifts for Christmas. So I have like so many fun things from the gift shop on my wall now, including he had tiles of the carpet, like unused ones,
Wow.
not like used carpet, but it was like,
Yeah.
that they would use for repairs if they needed to repair certain sections. And so now they're on my wall to help me with my soundproofing. So if you go
Oh.
look on my Twitter, I just posted a picture of it in honor of the anniversary today.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we've got
All right,
an
sorry.
update.
That was a very long digress.
That was great.
No, we
digression.
love
that
that
was so
stuff.
much fun.
You may not realize this, but you're in a virtual room full of nerds, so it's perfectly okay.
No.
Melissa
Yeah.
Longo, the birthday girl, says, quote, I had the great fortune of living in England during my childhood and toured the US with an Aussie band. The Gecko's accent is definitely not Aussie.
I think it's like an
Oh.
Outback Steakhouse situation where they think that's what Australian
Yeah.
is. but it's not.
I did just Google it, and it said it's a Cockney accent.
Oh,
Okay.
Ryan was
Okay,
right.
so you win. You
So-
win.
And how come he's always wearing like a cowboy hat, like he's in Australia?
Because the person
How come
probably,
he's a talking gecko?
Yeah. It probably was supposed to be Australian, and they couldn't get an actor to do the accent right.
Yeah.
So weird.
Because that's
right.
like it's some guy in West Virginia trying to do his best
It's just
Australian
making me
accent.
like the
which is-
caveman
Yes.
more.
Yes, that's probably it.
because I can't do an Australian accent. Whenever I try, it goes to Cockney. So I get it. I get it.
Yes.
Crazy.
I've just watched too much Doctor Who to be able to do any other accent that's close to it.
Yep.
I didn't mention the Outback before. Craziness. What's really interesting too is Inglorious Trexperts has a few episodes where they talk to who actually like wrote the scripts for the experience rides and who
Oh,
wrote
wow.
them. So if you look through their library on iTunes, it's really amazing stuff. And a lot of the writers actually they took like some of the more newbie writers in the Star Trek writing room and like flew them to Las Vegas for summers to write the scripts and
was-
watch all the
Wow.
VHSs to pick like footage.
Wow.
Really cool.
It was fun. And what was neat was, they got all the actors to be a part of it as well. Because, we're talking on the screen to Geordie LaForge, to Commander Riker, to, Janeway's in the Borg Invasion and the Borg Queen. So, like, they get all the actors to interact,
Wow.
on the screen with us. So it was fun.
Wow.
That's amazing.
All right,
Wait,
so
which
everybody in
Borg
the
queen?
Sorry,
chat,
guys.
everybody in the chat's asking about Prodigy, and by everybody I mean like one or two people. Most people are trying to figure out
Yeah.
the Geico
accent.
gecko thing
Yeah.
started. But yeah, let's talk about Prodigy a bit more because it has superstars in it, like the one and only Kate Mulgrew. You did scratch vocals for Kate or for
I
Kate's
did.
character, and you did scratch vocals also for Gwen. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah, I got to do scratch. I initially got hired to do scratch for Gwen while they were still trying to cast someone for the role. And then as we were recording, they started bringing me in to do Janeway because again, we recorded this all through COVID. So everything was remote to get people, the right equipment and into studios at convenient times was difficult. So the animators needed something to start working with vocally. So I was really lucky to jump in on the scratch vocals, especially doing someone like Janeway, who's my favorite captain, and Kate Mulgrew is just
Ever?
such a yeah. I mean, I love Picard, I really do, but Janeway, it's because she's a badass.
Let's guess everybody's
Yes.
captain right now.
All right.
Muhammad's is Morgan. Anne Marie.
What's the guy with the transparent skull?
Baudet.
Baudet.
Captain
Oh
Baudet.
my
Yeah.
god, that's mine. That's mine.
And Katie's favorite captain is no, it's Janeway.
Yeah.
Janeway for me too, actually.
Hardcore.
hmm Anyway,
Mhm.
please continue.
3
Bonnie.
Janeways in a group. I love it.
Yes. Don't get me wrong, Picard's an amazing captain, but Janeway had
Oh,
to
yeah.
put up with some major shit and still
Mhm.
kept her cool.
Mhm.
But no, her voice is she has that like transatlantic accent. It's an Audrey Hepburn sound to her
Yeah.
voice. So basically that's all I did was just do an Audrey Hepburn imitation when I was recording her voice. And I was just like, oh, I hope she doesn't hear this because I hope she doesn't go, I don't sound like that. I don't want her to be listening to it going like, who is this girl doing my voice? I don't like it.
Oh.
I
Well, she
don't-
does
I don't
watch
sound
our
like
show
this.
every week. So
Oh, does
just
she?
F1.
Oh,
Oh, no. Janeway.
You've heard the story when
Kate, if
Garrett
you're watching.
imitates her, right? When Garrett
Hmm.
Wong imitates
Oh,
Kate
yes.
Mulgrew,
Really?
yeah.
That's funny.
He does a great
Kate-
imitation, which she does not like, apparently.
I would guess
Oh.
that she wouldn't.
I just have to say, like, Kate, if you're watching, it comes from a place of love. And thank you.
Aw.
Aw, that doesn't sound half bad.
Thank
That's
you.
a really good for. I like that. Now, I was wondering because I'm like very minor league voice acting on small podcast roles, but how the heck do you get so great at voice acting? Like being able to throw in accents and everything like that.
I come from a theater background, so I did a lot of and I'm a character actor, I'd like to say. So, and a musical theater background. So I think music really helped when it comes to voice acting, different changing your pitch, changing your tone. And I always would get cast as the big, like the, oh, right, like the big crazy characters, or like the, the old ladies, the, oh my. I'd always get cast as the weird, wacky characters in the shows. And then it just kind of branched into voice acting whenever I found out, like, wait, you get paid to talk funny? Hold on. Yeah. I was like, wait a minute. And it's something I just kind of fell into, and I'm so grateful for it because it's been like such a fun career path, and I'm hoping to continue doing it. I still do a lot of theater, a lot of music. I sing with like 3 bands out here in LA now. So, I still do a lot with music and theater and live performances, but like getting to voice something with voiceover, with theater you get a little bit of leeway, but with on-camera stuff your looks really do matter. If you're singled out for, like I can't play an 80-year-old woman on camera. I can if it's like, a crazy caricature or something, or I don't know, makeup,
like the Mrs.
whatever.
Claus duets you did on Twitter. Those were awesome.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. But you know what I mean? Like I can't really do a lot of, I'm kind of like typed out of a lot of casting when it comes to on-camera things, but with voiceover, because it's really all about that part of your instrument and not what your face is doing per se. I get to do a lot more. I mean, I obviously don't look like a computer, so there you go.
You kind of do, like you're like on my screen right now.
That's true. That's true.
Now, Bonnie,
Yeah.
don't worry, nobody's watching this. What can you tell us about what we can expect in the next 5 episodes that run basically until February 10th or something like that, right? What can you tell us? And even if it's just generic, you're gonna love it.
Well, you are. I know they've already leaked a few pictures and little tidbits about the current episode coming up on Thursday. And I'll just say, as a Trekkie, I cannot wait for people to watch this one. Well, I mean, so if you see it, you'll notice that there is a Galaxy class bridge shown. A la Next Generation, Enterprise bridge looking. So I can at least tell you that much, that obviously something's happening in regards to that. It's such a fun episode, and I can't wait for people to watch it. As for the next 5, oh gosh, that's my brain trying to be like, when did we record those? That was, over a year ago. I don't even know what's coming up. I just remember this episode specifically that's about to air, how excited I was for people to watch it. But I do know for certain that the characters continue to grow, their relationships continue to grow. In the last, episode where they go and they rescue Gwen, we're going to see more of her journey of trying to come to terms with the fact that her father was walking away from her. She's going to have to basically try to figure out where she belongs. Like, she's kind of like in that in-between limbo place of like, is she part of the crew? Does she stay loyal to her family or to her new family? And that's kind of a journey that we're going to take with her. I mean, I don't think that's spoiling anything, because that's obviously something that you can see just from, the last episode.
So this is from Trek Movie. This is from trekmovie.com. The next episode is called Kobayashi. This is what you're talking about as far as the images that have been.
But they've also leaked not leaked, but like released, if you go on Twitter, it's like the animated version of them like revealing the Galaxy class ship bridge. And it's so gorgeous. Like it almost looks real. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, we got to see that.
Yeah, Bonnie, you mentioned the character growth, and that's to me one of the things that I found the most impressive with the first 5 episodes too. These characters all have depth. I mean, often with animated things, everybody's just kind of this caricature and one dimensional things like that. But using Doll as an example, like he's on the one hand, he's a little bit of this carefree dive in, and then figure it out later. On the other hand, he's also somebody who clearly is very conflicted about not knowing anything about his ancestry and his parents. And there's all these different. There's a lot of dimensions to it, which is good storytelling right there. That's the best shows tend to have that, and Trek in general tends to have that well-developed character as opposed to the good guy, the brawny guy, whatever. So.
And shout out to the writers, because they fit all of this in and all this character development in 22 minutes instead of like a full 45 to an hour episode that most of us are used to with Star Trek. They're having to condense it into an animated format, and it blows my mind what they've done with these characters, how much they fit in such a short amount of time, because it's only been 5 episodes, and I feel like they've shown already so much growth and so much they're showing so much depth in the characters. Just like you were saying, they're definitely not one dimensional. They have so many layers. I always talk about how much I love the character Rock Talk, and I stand on that
yes,
hill
you do.
forever.
Yes, you do.
I love that character so much, and she seeing her in the last episode where she was lamenting about what she saw with the little cute creatures wanting to cuddle her and play with her.
So
They weren't scared of her. Exactly. So I feel like just showing that small moment, that vulnerability that she's showing to the others of how she just wants to be loved and love things in return and not have things be scared of her, which I think is special. I also love the character
plushies
Zero.
of her. Yes.
I love her, and of course, we need Murph plushies.
Yes, a pillow.
Yes.
Everybody loves Murph.
It's just something I could go into the new Las Vegas experience shop. I mean, there's merch.
See,
brilliant idea,
Katie, you're onto something. It's all it's the Ferengi way, merchandising.
Yes.
Remember those toys you could squeeze and they kind of slip out through your hands because they would just kind of ooze out. That would be perfect for Murph.
That'd be Murph.
Yes.
All of you humans love your merchandise.
Yes.
But yeah, I love that. I love the Zero character as well. I love that kids today are seeing animation is and children's shows in general are starting to show more diversity in the sense of using different pronouns, and having Zero as a Medusan, having them use the pronouns they them and not and state out loud that they're not a male or a female. Just makes it so much normal for kids growing up today that as they get older, it's just going to be normal, which is what it should be. So I think that's really important, and I feel like Star Trek in general right now is really showing that diversity. I mean, the latest season of Discovery has been so special, seeing all of that representation, and not just in gender and race, but in becoming into one of becoming, I guess, who you are. I mean, just look at the Zora computer character of her becoming a new species entirely. It blows my mind that they're really exploring and trying to make sure that everyone kind of gets a voice, which I love.
Which begs the question, Bonnie, is the Prodigy ship's computer going to have a little back sass soon too? Is she going to be like,
oh, don't
Zora,
I wish it? Don't I wish it?
Where Janeway says like, make sure you plot a course for whatever she says. And then the ship's computer goes, who the are you? You're not my boss.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it. Are we gonna
like, I'm sorry, I'm on break.
There you go.
I'm a union computer.
Oh man, that would be great.
Oh man.
It's great that you keep up with the other shows, Bonnie, by the way. That's because you were just referencing the most recent episode of Discovery from
I hope I didn't spoil it for anyone.
No, but that was great. It's really cool to see that you're that engaged with it as part of the community.
I love it. Awesome. I love it. I got to play Dungeons & Dragons. So like when you say I'm a nerd, like I'm a mega nerd. I got to play D&D, a charity D&D game the other day with Blue from Discovery, and Noah was the DM.
Noah AK.
Our boy Noah AK. Yeah,
he was. Yeah, it was so much fun. And one of the writers who wrote the latest episode of Discovery, Carlos, he was on it as well. So we did a charity D&D game. and just to get to play with them was just so much fun. I was just like, I was kind of fangirling a little bit.
On that note, can we also help with an announcement? I saw, what is it called? Discovery does D&D. Is that what
Disco
it is?
does D&D. That's what it is.
D&D.
And that's what we did. That's what we did it under, the branch of that the other day.
But I mean, there's a new social media handle for that now. You guys have actual social media. I saw Noah AK sharing it with, I guess, can only be described as an interesting and lovable, looks like mascot character. It was like a 3-eyed snail or something.
Yeah, that thing.
Weird like that, right? It was just like 2 days ago, a day or two ago.
I saw
So
that.
everybody stay tuned for that. I'll look up what the handle is. I think it's Disco Does D&D, right?
I believe
Bonnie.
so.
And I think it was like on
Well,
Instagram, probably Twitter and Facebook.
Twitter.
It was definitely on Twitter. I saw it there.
So we'll find that. We'll include that in just a second.
Hopefully they'll have me back because I had a blast. I had so much fun.
What was your character?
I was a halfling named Wasp who was a rogue, and Wasp, very tiny little thing, all dressed in black. We were all pirates on a ship, and Wasp has these daggers. They're returning daggers. When you throw them, they come right back to you, and that's how she got her nickname. She would shoot a dagger, and it'd come right back. So it was like a wasp sting whenever she would attack you. She talked a lot like she was in the galley doing potatoes. I guess now I'm a gecko or a gecko because I'm a Cockney accent.
All right, here we go. I think I found it here. Here it is on Twitter.
Oh, so, yeah. I don't know what that is.
There's the handle. Disco Does D&D.
Disco Does D&D.
It is a 3-eyed, 3 top-lipped, four mace-headed. No, that's a Morningstar-headed snail with a backpack or a dead body that he's smuggling.
What does it say? Rio Del Mar.
Yeah,
I love it.
What's
No
that?
idea.
I don't know either. Anyway, so everybody check that out, follow them, and support, because that is good, juicy, nerdy fun.
I hope that they I just love that so many of the Discovery cast plays D&D. It's so fun to hear a lot of their recaps on Twitter.
Okay, so before we close the book on Prodigy, Bonnie, is there anything that you would like to tell us about the next 5 episodes? Anything like, is it, was it more fun recording the next 5 episodes? Do you not quite remember? It's all somewhat of a blur. Is there a specific episode that you thought was better than the others, or more interesting, or that we need to keep an eye on?
I do know, I'm not quite sure if the episodes I'm thinking of are in the next 5, so I don't want to give anything away. I will say in the next one coming up, as the computer saying the lines that I got to say, I was, they had to calm me down a lot. I had to do a few different takes of different lines, just in case they had to see like what was going to be the final scenario or the final choices. I'm trying not to give anything away, and also not get sued. I don't want the Hageman brothers coming after me.
This will all make sense in a week.
This will all make sense.
We're gonna look
in
back
2 days.
in 2 days. Yeah, and we're gonna be like, oh.
Well, I'm dying to know if there's a major computer voice, because there's obviously a holodeck.
Well, I do know that when I asked if they wanted me to mimic her voice in any way, they wanted an original computer voice. So I will say that it is my computer voice speaking. But I feel like I embody the legacy of her, because she is such a legend. But yes, so I know for a fact in the next episode, I remember recording my lines and kind of freaking out in a good way, not like, oh no.
I love it.
it's a lot of fun, and as a Trekkie, I was very excited too, and I can't wait for people to see this episode.
Watch out for that fear data.
Yeah.
Who out of the 4 of us, besides Bonnie, do you think is going to watch the next Prodigy episode first? Like,
me, because I just watched all the episodes last night, so I'm like totally ready for 3 a.m. Eastern on Thursday. Sorry.
Okay.
I win.
We'll see.
But I
We'll
get to
see.
get up
I
early
might
for
watch it
work,
today.
so I just watch it straight as it comes out.
That's what I do.
Ooh.
I get
I
up
just
and
don't go to
get on
bed.
the treadmill, put it on.
I might
Well,
just
that's
watch it
smart.
today, so I would win then.
Oh
Anne-Marie,
yeah,
sorry to
true.
say.
That's true.
you go.
I do want to point out that in the live chat, Frankie Johnson said that mascot was a flail snail.
Oh,
Ah,
So I guess.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I
Okay.
guess
cute.
that
That is
works.
pretty
Cute. What
Mhm.
cute name.
It's something. Cute's a word. I feel like it's Murph's like long lost cousin or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely a thing.
Could be in the same species family.
So everybody check this out. Besides Prodigy, there's going to be so much coming out in 2022. There are probably
Yes.
going to be 5 series, right? There's probably
It's
going to be,
insane.
we know there's going to be Prodigy. We know there's
Mhm.
going to be Discovery.
mhm. And
Strange
Picard.
New Worlds. Yeah, Picard
So
after
excited
that,
for
and
it.
then Strange New
Picard's.
Worlds likely after that.
And more Prodigy.
And then
Probably
probably
more
Lower
decks.
Lower Decks.
Yeah.
And right, Anne-Marie, then Prodigy again at the end of this year, most likely, right? So check out this Screen Rant article, which probably just says what we just said.
D articles guest or 50 episodes guest.
Mm.
They say 2022 is Star Trek's biggest year ever. First of all, before we even get into that article, do you agree or disagree with that? And everybody at home, let us know. Do you think 2022 will be Star Trek's biggest year ever? Anne-Marie's already very skeptical.
You're jumping up and down excited.
I think so, because not only are we getting so many series, but with Picard, we're getting Q back, who's
Mhm.
always been one of my
Yes.
favorite
And
characters.
Guinan.
And exactly.
Right.
So we're getting characters that I feel like with Picard, a lot of people were slightly disappointed that there weren't more characters from Next Gen and Voyager and DS9 and like more, they wanted more cameos. They wanted more of that familiarity. And so I'm hoping, with them doing this, that kind of scratches that itch, because I know for me, I would just want everyone back. I'm like, just bring them all back. We just bring them all back.
Exactly. Where's
Yeah.
Denise Crosby? We're gonna rewrite her back
Yeah.
in.
Yeah. She's only died like 5 times. It's fine.
It's fine.
No one's
Data's
counting.
getting up there too, so they might as well.
Yeah.
The legacy thing
That's
also
true.
applies to Strange New Worlds too, in the sense we're bringing back Spock and
Yes.
various Nurse Chapel
Oh
and
my
Lieutenant
God.
Uhura, and
Oh, yeah.
and kind of
Worlds,
number 1
yeah.
and Pike too. They're not truly as much original, but still, I mean, they're familiar. So yeah,
Yeah.
getting
So
a lot
right,
of-
Mohammed.
interesting.
Strange New Worlds is going to have just so many beautiful and amazing legacy characters that are kind of, I wouldn't say reimagined, but like rebooted, because obviously the same
Mhm.
actor can't play it 55 years later, right?
Yeah.
This
mean,
character, but it's so much looking forward to that. Sorry, what were you saying, Anne-Marie?
Oh, what's really interesting is like, I know it isn't like a huge population base, and obviously the population's a little bit biased, but Larry Nemechek, Dr. Trek / I call him Dr. Star Trek. He did an email poll that he sent out last night and then talked about the results today, which of his database, I think 8.5% of people responded. And it was what are you most excited about for next year? Or / I guess this year, 2022. And it was a list of a bunch of things. And then one of the top ones was actually people saying Strange New Worlds coming out.
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
a lot of people really want to see
See,
the episodic television come back
Mhm.
more so than, I mean, even though I personally like arc-based better, but I know a lot of people really, really want, like meteorologist Katie, really want that
Yeah.
episodic aspect back. So it's fair.
Well,
You know,
it's
to each their
interesting
own.
for me because I'm in a weird space being born in 1996, because when I was finally old enough to enjoy Trek, it was canceled. And so I really
What
started
did you
up-
do?
I didn't do much. Thomas the Tank Engine, maybe. Or those the OG
What a
fandom.
sequel.
They're 2,
I
they're
wish
4,
I-
they're 6, they're 8.
Yes, pulling some things, the shunting freight, red and green and brown and blue. Yeah.
They're a
But
really useful
for
crew.
real. yes.
Sorry.
But no, I'm so excited because I'm used to this overall arcing Star Trek series where there's that overall just everything with the story tied together.
Mhm.
But I kind of like the original series, the Next Gen, where it's like, yeah, sure, there are arcs, but here's an individual like experience a week, so you don't have to be exactly caught up if you want to watch the new episode.
Mhm.
So I'm so excited. And like to have 5 on at the same time blows my mind.
Right?
I was just happy when they did the JJ reboot. I was like, oh, cool, Star Trek. And now it's just like, holy cow.
Well, I'm also really excited about Strange New Worlds because there's something, I think most Star Trek fans are like this. I'm definitely like this. And that what we really like in a lot of instances is the expansion of a character we've only seen once or thrice, where because we turn into such nerds where we're like, I loved all 173 episodes with Geordie LaForge in it, right? We get it. But then we also go, but what about that Leah Brahms girl? Like, don't you want to know, like, just a little bit, like we all focus on the,
Don't.
or for Anne Marie, she wants to know more about Melora from Deep Space Nine.
Hilarious.
We all
Ryan.
want to know more about these characters that don't usually get explored as much because there's only so much screen time. You got to have main characters. You have to have secondary and tertiary characters. And we're going to get to learn the backstory, not only from, Pike and Una, number one, but also, all these other characters like Uhura and Rand and Mbenga and all these other people.
Chapel.
It's who?
There's Chapel.
Yeah, Chapel.
Yeah.
That's just going to be amazing. And somebody in the chat, DJ Kitty Cat said, my fangirl heart will be happy if Jolene Blaylock makes a guest appearance in Strange New World. That's right. We have
My New Year's
T'Pol
wish.
and Soval can both do. I mean, I guess
Yeah, but
Archer
she
and
was
anybody
also,
can
like,
because they live to be a
interesting me at Star
million.
Trek Day.
Yeah.
Remember?
Right. That was our hint.
Which,
You're
that's
right,
my
Anne-Marie.
hint. My hint
McCoy
slash
did
wish
show up
slash
in the-
dream.
Oh, sorry. I started saying
Anne-Marie-
McCoy did show up in the
Anne-Marie's
pilot
saying-
of TNG. So.
There
Right.
you go.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're right. Anne Marie pointed
Which we
out that
didn't need.
Jolene Blaylock was in attendance at Star Trek Day.
Which is rare for her.
And she doesn't go to
Yeah.
things. She doesn't go to stuff. So
Mm.
there might be a connection there. Anne Marie's got the Star Trek
Yeah,
eagle
like the
eye.
red thread. And a bulletin
You have like
board.
that wall
Trying to
with
put it
all
all
everyone's
together.
pictures.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just, here it is.
I've solved it.
Yeah, that's my
So the
theory.
question is, which you guys are pretty much, we're talking about this already. I don't even really need to
I just
ask
wanted
it.
to know
But the
who
question
she
is,
sat with. Okay,
Yeah.
that's all I have
What?
to say. I just wanted to know who
Promise?
she sat with. Yeah.
So the question is, what are your hopes for Star Trek in 2022? Bonnie, do you have hopes for Star Trek in 2022?
My hope would be for them to just keep making more. I know sometimes, with certain fan bases, the gatekeeping and the naysayers can get kind of heavy-handed. And it's the same thing when we started getting a whole bunch of Star Wars being made too, which I'm also a huge fan of. It's like, guys, we're getting more Star Wars. Can you just not, I'm sorry if it doesn't go through in your fanfic mind, but we're getting more of a franchise that we love. And I feel like that's how I feel about Star Trek. Some people are like, oh, I don't really like the new Star Trek. It's not actual Star Trek. And I'm like, but it is. And it is for a lot of people. And if you don't like it, that's okay. And you can just go away and not watch it and let us enjoy things. So I just hope that we keep getting more. I hope that that as it continues to grow and they continue to kind of spin off new stories and the great thing about something like Prodigy introducing a whole new generation of younger people to Star Trek and having like parents who are Trekkies like watching it with their kids, it kind of is being that bridge to making it a continued thing. So I just hope it keeps going and keeps expanding, and I hope to one day be in a live action series of
Yes.
one.
Yes.
That's my goal.
That's a good hope, right? That's
Yeah.
a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to
Funny if
follow
somebody-
in the real footsteps of Majel Roddenberry and be a
Ooh.
computer as well as who knows what.
It'd be funny if somebody made the comment, you sound just like the computer on the Protostar.
Me?
Mohammed, do you have any hopes for 2022?
Mine's very similar to Bonnie, and what I like is the diversity that's coming out, because I mean, really, there is a home for everybody. Those people who really want the episodic thing and they don't like the arc-based one, fine, there you go, Strange New Worlds, hop in, keep watching that, and if you don't love the others, don't. More power to you. Those of us who love the arc-based ones, like, let's dive in whole hog with Discovery. Let's find out what's going on with that DMA and all those kinds of exciting things. So I feel like, again, there's the younger audience, there's the comedy version. I mean, it's great seeing that diversity. And I think that's the piece where hopefully that will lead to greater sustainability for the whole franchise, that, there's basically a niche for everybody. So just building on what you said, Bon.
Yay.
Anne-Marie, do you agree with that? Or do you have...
Totally. It's also exciting. And hopefully in-person events and many more virtual things and getting to live chat with everybody. It's just so much fun. And all the new Star Trek personas we're going to have with all the new shows, like from behind the camera and in front. And also all the new little Trekkies we're bringing in with Prodigy. And I mean, even like the movie news, which I'm not that excited about because we get like new movie news all the time. And I'm never really like one for the movies anyway. Even that like brings in tons of people. Like the Calvin movies brought in tons of new fans. So like every new Star Trek thing, there's like a really great gateway for new fans. Not that like we're grooming people for a cult, but
I mean, we are, and the cult is called the Federation.
Welcome.
Star cult.
Yeah. But it's just good for the franchise. And then hopefully more like actually some Prodigy merchandise so that I can get some for my little baby nephew who's a year old. It's never too early.
I know that's been my thing, is I want more Prodigy merch because A, I want it, and then B, I also have a nephew who's just turning 1, and I'm like, you're gonna get so much nerd stuff.
People, yeah.
Anne-Marie, you mentioned the in-person events, and that's another great point. By having all these different series, the conventions are going to have this infusion of all these new people. So, the diversity of panels we're going to be able to see, different points of view is, it's great seeing like the original series folks too, but like for some of us, we've seen those panels for many years. Now it's like, here's a whole new group of people we can learn about and get to be friends with and, just have fun with.
Great point. The Scotch Trekker in the live chat says Strange New Worlds will be arc-based, though. However, I will beg to differ, and Muhammad's frown tells us that he will too. I'm sure there are going to be some storylines that carry over, like if a couple get together, it won't be like the next episode they're not together anymore. I'm sure there'll still be some things that carry over, but it probably won't be as episodic as say like Next Generation was, or original series. I think they'll still have some storylines carry over, but I think they've been very clear saying that they're going to go back to that kind of way of storytelling. Katie, do you have any hopes and dreams for Star Trek in 2022?
Well, you know me as the perpetual optimist, but I think the main thing for me is that it's going to help change the field of the fandom, at least on social media, because it has gotten, as everyone will agree, a little tense, a little toxic, but if we have a lot of content, everyone can find something they like. There's comedy, like you said, with Lower Decks. There's enough for the kids and a new generation with Prodigy. You have Discovery, which is more of that progressive, overall arcing style. Strange New Worlds, different. So I don't think a single person can complain about all of that, because then they'd be hypocrites, because all of that is a part of what has already come before. So I'm just excited to throw out, here's all this new stuff. Pick and choose what you like. It's all Star Trek. And just being able to say that is going to be amazing to help people find their way through this new era of the fandom.
When it comes to the...
No, please.
Oh, I was going to say, in jumping off that, when it comes to like all the new fans coming into the Star Trek franchise, the closer we do to actually getting... the closer we actually get to the Federation, because I feel like the more all of us have those ideals and like see Star Trek and go, this is what I want of our future, and especially now that we're bringing some of these younger kids into the fold, I feel like the closer we get to that Federation, I mean, obviously not, Federation, but the more we become accepting of all, and it's all about exploration and becoming better people and a better species of better humanity, working together and solving problems through diplomacy and not, with pew 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 guns. So
I like
yeah,
pew 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 guns.
But you know what I mean. Yeah, I mean, there every now and then you got to use the pew 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 buttons, but
Right. Good knowledge.
Exactly. But yeah, I feel like the more people get into Star Trek, the closer we get to that idolized future of like, us working with technology and being accepting of different types of species and cultures. And I feel like it helps people see more around them in the real world when they're seeing this fantastical sci-fi world.
Now, everybody, Katie reminded us just a minute ago that at 5:56 p.m. Pacific time every Tuesday, it's joke time. Starting now, Katie reminded me of a very funny joke that you will now enjoy. So there's this guy that comes up to me and he goes, "I'm a teepee, I'm a wigwam, I'm a teepee, I'm a wigwam." And I'm like, "Stop, relax, man, you're too tense."
But
Remember, Katie,
I've heard you say that multiple times.
Because Katie, you know how you said that it's tense out there. Anyway, I'll tell you what I'm looking forward to in 2022. Oh shoot, we just lost all our viewers.
Oh no!
Oh my god, all these thumbs down.
No, yeah, first of all, yeah, lots of new Star Trek is going to be amazing. I'm very much looking forward to Strange New Worlds, even more so when they start introducing characters. But I also think it's going to be very important and cool for the people behind the scenes to get a little bit more love. And I'm hoping that people will realize that the people running, say, social media on Paramount Plus, the people running the PR department, if you'll notice, the people that are doing this aren't just good at their jobs, but they're also very friendly, which one might argue is kind of a requirement to be good at your job. But anybody that's had any interactions with them will tell you that the people that are running the business end or the promotions end or the social media end, they're very good people. They're very nice. They're very good. And they want to make the fans and the community feel appreciated. They want to make the actors and the fans and the podcast feel appreciated. And I hope that more people realize this, because most people, we just kind of react to it. We're like, oh, this is great. This is awesome. We don't realize there's a human on the other end that's thinking, how can I make this person feel good? How can I make things stay positive? And so I think that's my hope for 2022 is just more people start, just tweet Star Trek and Paramount Plus and just say, you guys are doing a great job. We really appreciate you. Something like that.
The level of engagement too by the writers and showrunners for a lot of the new series is
Absolutely.
amazing.
Huge.
Yeah, I mean, like
What's
Mike McMahon, he replies to stuff all the time. Aaron Walk, he's great.
He's amazing.
The Higgins, everybody's like, they're on Twitter and they're eager to share and eager to engage with us. It's not this, living up on some, I'll use the university analogy, living up on some ivory tower.
And Aaron was on our show recently and he was fantastic. We'd love to have the Hagmans, but yeah, that is an excellent point. We've never seen, this is like unprecedented for people. And Bonnie, yourself as well. The actors, actresses, the producers, the writers, they embrace Star Trek and the fans to a degree we've never seen. That's an excellent point.
Because I feel like now, I feel like it's people too that are working on the shows now who grew up with Star Trek and who are fans of Star Trek.
Exactly.
Now they're just Trekkies like us, but they get to work on it, but they're just as much dying to talk about it with other Trekkies as we are, And
they understand what it's like to be a fan, which that's my infatuation with David Tennant is he wanted to be the Doctor. He loved the Doctor. And then he became the Doctor. Like these Star Trek people who are the writers, they're Star Trek fans. And so to a degree, they understand how we would like to be treated and how they themselves would like to be treated. And I think that just makes it a healthier interaction overall and way more fun.
Agreed. I mean, when I saw the audition that there were, auditioning for an animated Star Trek series, I pulled every string I could to make sure I A, got an audition, and B, it was heard. And, when I got the call back for Gwen, I was, I went in a, I'm still a little bit embarrassed by this. This was pre-COVID when I went in for the callback. I was in a galaxy print dress with a comm badge and like a Star Trek messenger bag and space print like boots.
And Andorian ears.
Right. Like, so I walk in and I'm sure, and then even Kevin and Dan Hageman were in the room and they were like, oh, it's Bonnie from Twitter. Like, oh no. They remembered because I like would tweet at them going like, I want to audition, So they're like, oh, it's this girl. But it was just such a fun and welcoming, they made me feel really at ease. And I was you could just tell I was so excited to be able to just audition. That's my text tone too, by the way, whoever just got a text or notification, that's mine. That's mine as well. I literally went to my phone going, whoa. But no.
My phone call is the TARDIS whirring, by the way, just if you're looking for another one.
Of course. But yeah, I think that's what makes it so special is that all of these people, even if they're not fans of Star Trek, like before they jump onto the project, because they want to make sure that they are being, what's the word I'm looking for? True to the franchise, they are like doing their research, they are doing everything they can to make sure like that what they're writing and what they're presenting to fans is good Star Trek. And I feel like you can really see them all caring, like all the actors, the producers, again, just like you were saying, the writers, they're all just excited to be working on Star Trek. And I'm one of them. I'm just I have the Variety magazine cover of Star Trek Prodigy. I just framed it yesterday and put it on my wall. It came in the mail. I was just like, ah! Like it's just so exciting to be working on something that you're so like deeply in love with and care for so much. Yeah. I hope everyone gets to experience that in some way, like in their jobs and in their, life.
So, talking a little bit more about 2022, and Picard is coming in like somewhere theoretically, I'd guess March, right? I mean, things keep getting shuffled a little bit.
Dave Blass just tweeted. Larry was saying he tweeted out recently that it could potentially be a little bit later, but also it might not be. So it's like very non-committal.
I'm sure they're having issues with, studios having to keep closing down for COVID and working remotely, and editors
exactly.
and
Discovery got pushed back. So like,
yeah, I mean, even if everything's shot, I don't think people realize even just coming into a studio to edit something, if you're positive with COVID, it's like, there's only so much you can do from home.
As someone once said, I'm tired of living in historic times. It's
whatever.
Isn't it?
You're telling me
I can leave. It'll be amazing.
What is amazing is the fact that they're making 5 shows through this pandemic. It's unbelievable. Right. So I think that's awesome, and it's no small feat. But when Picard does, in fact, begin to air, whether that's March or April or whenever, Anne-Marie here found us a new piece of information that Jonathan Frakes mentioned. Do you want to tell us about it a little bit, Anne-Marie?
Well, I think it's not it's like the past week. He's just talking a little bit more about his time directing and acting on Picard. And so he said that he's actually like in a scene with Q and Brent Spiner as another soon character, which I'm like totally fangirling out about. I love those 3, and like the more on a screen at once, the better. I can't even wait.
Yeah.
The Q
also,
Frakes
the more
combo.
Soons, the better. I love all of them. To know them is to love them.
More Brent Spiner, always.
Here's another article by Trek Movie, our good friends at trekmovie.com. I think this is what you're referencing, Anne-Marie. You sent this in. So here's the article. It's from January 3rd. Jonathan Frakes talks director.
So happy.
I just love him.
Oh.
Look at that.
He is God's gift to the universe, I've heard. So anyway, it says Frakes will share a scene with Delancey.
That's
Phil
great.
says, I have a scene with Q and Soong, who is Brent Spiner, who Brent Spiner plays on Picard. It's going to be a new Soong that we all know. It's going to be another member of the Soong family, but not
They
one
all
that's
look
ever
the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Seriously, dominant
Soong.
alleles.
Strong genetics. Yeah.
Yeah.
You get a soon. You get a soon. You get a soon.
Or
There it is.
Inbreeding. There's a lot of inbreeding.
Yeah.
It's eugenics, you mean? It's eugenics. So Q and Soong and Frakes, I guess Riker, will all be in a scene together or more scenes.
Well, it does say that he was talking about directing the scene, not acting. So, but he could also be saying that to throw people off. Because it says they share a scene, but Trek Movies confirmed he was talking about directing the scene, not acting in it. So maybe, so Frakes might just be, he might have just been directing the scene, saying that was one of my favorites. But of course, that could just be him throwing us all off the scent, you know? Like maybe he's supposed to not be revealed. And he's like, oh, I mean, I was just directing, you know? I know I've eaten my words many times.
There have been a lot of slip ups lately, but that's a good point, Bonnie. It could be a slip up that he tried to clean up, or he could just be like, no, I meant directing, obviously.
Obviously, I meant I directed the scene. Yeah. And then, you know what? He's an incredible director. So
exactly, we'll take whatever we can get.
We'll take it.
I love the Riker Q combo though. Their interactions were often very amusing in TNG. So I would love it if it ends up being an acting scene. But you know, whatever we get, we get.
My favorite interaction was Q and Worf when he said, "Eat any good books lately?"
Yes.
Best line ever.
Oh my gosh.
I think Q's one of my favorite characters. So whenever I saw the teaser, last year, the Picard teaser where they hinted that he'd be coming back, I was like, ah! I remember I think I just tweeted Q, like in all caps.
Yeah.
Wow, look at this. There's a little bit more in this article here. Our good buddy Kit Stolen, art director, tweeted this
Isn't that
out.
fun?
Wow,
cool.
Look at that.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Streaming will resume shortly.
That's pretty
But
cool.
yeah, so we're also going to have a Borg Queen. What do we have any idea what Q is going to be doing in Picard? I mean, he's going to be messing with Picard.
Yeah.
Timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly. I mean,
Yes!
just from what I've gotten,
Right.
just from what I've gotten from the clips that they're showing, it's definitely going to be messing up with the timeline and it looks like we're going to see storylines that obviously never happened that, it even seems, I wouldn't say mirror universe-esque, but it has that feel, like it has that. Yeah.
Q's an interesting character because he often comes across as being the person who's messing things up, but in actuality, he's actually trying to help you fix it. I mean, like with the finale or Ryan's favorite
He's
episode
like
where
the
Picard
worst
gets stabbed.
kind of teacher. Like,
You're
the
such an
teacher's like,
apologist.
oh, I'll help you figure it out, but you're going to have to figure it out on your own. Sort of.
I won't just
teacher.
tell
It's
you
just
the answer.
Tell me the answer.
In Dungeons and Dragons, we call that chaotic good. It's
Yep.
like his intentions are actually on the good side, like he's trying to help, but the way he does it is just pure chaos. And it's like there's such an easier way. Like, I know you're just trying to entertain yourself at this point, but he's just like a chaotic demon. Basically.
See, I've always seen Q as he wants people and humanity to think, and Picard to think that he's doing good and teaching him a lesson, but he's really just fucking with him. Like, he really just seems like he's just like toying with the guy, and he's like, see, I'm doing this to teach you a lesson. I hope you've learned and you're welcome. And we're like, well, you're just you really
just being an asshole.
I guess in Tapestry, the best episode ever in Tapestry, he did teach him a very valuable lesson.
Yeah.
Although getting in bed with him was a little much.
Damn it, Q! I don't want to play your games anymore. Right, there he is.
He chroma keyed out.
Oh no.
Anyway.
I do know. I'm trying to remember. I feel like he has Puck energy. You know, like Midsummer's Night's
Yeah.
Dream. He's like Puck, where like the things he's doing like eventually will turn out in the favor of what you want, but the road to get there is just pure chaos and foolery, tomfoolery.
Linda in the chat says Picard is Q's pet. It kind of feels that way sometimes. Like, if you ever have like a cat that sits around all day, you can tell that a lot of times they just eat out of boredom. They don't just eat when they're hungry. Sometimes they just get up and they just kind of sniff their bowl and take a nibble or two. Cute.
I was about to go grab my cat, but he's over there.
It almost seems like that's what Q does with Picard. Like he's just laying around. He's just kind of like, I guess I could screw around with Picard today. You know what? Yeah, let's just see if I can make him cry or something.
Well, when you're a being that has that much power and you've also lived for that long, I mean, honestly, a lot of the things he does, I feel, is just out of boredom half the time. Him snapping his fingers and bringing the Borg, spoilers, but that, in Next Generation, him doing that, it's like, wait a minute, there's no need. Why bring them here? We don't want this villain.
Well, when you've already been a scarecrow.
Yeah.
There's a plotline Voyager where the Q were all bored and sitting in that town and stuff.
Yeah, that's right. They're just kind of, they don't really know what to do with themselves. So they're just like, what do you do? What do you do when you're all powerful and you basically want for nothing? I mean, that's kind of, I feel he doesn't understand why humans do the things we do. Anyway, I'd love to just snap my fingers and have a live band playing.
There's a Twilight Zone episode about this where like the person thinks he's in heaven because anything he wishes for comes true, but it turns out like he's not.
Yeah.
He gets so bored.
Oh my gosh, yeah, because we are getting a lot of new Star Trek.
No. Wait, which one of us is the all-powerful one that keeps snapping our fingers with more Star Trek shows?
Obviously, Katie.
Me. I use mine for the weather. I don't know who else uses their powers for Star Trek.
There's also one more thing that was mentioned in the previous article on Screen Rant. That was a great article about 2022. That we've got a movie coming, and that is going to be December 23rd, 2023. So that is the following year. So we'll have to talk about that a year from now. But,
all right, we'll meet back here, same time, same place. Everyone's good. I'll pencil it in.
Works.
And it'll still be a year away.
January 4th, 2024. Oh, that's true. I'm talking about. I'll put it in.
We'll go after the movie's out. All of us can go and see it.
So let's change a channel here to another thing we've seen. It was like last week. Was it last week? It was last week. Star Trek Daily News or Daily Star Trek News. Our good friend Allison Pitt and pals did an article and a movie or a video about all the Star Trek actors and such that we lost in 2021, an in memoriam. It was pretty cool. A lot of people, to be honest, that I hadn't remembered or that you have to like think about or be reminded on, because they're like one-offs in the original series. But here are some of them.
It was so good.
N-Tech, we remember him in Second Skin, right?
Right.
So here's a fun one. Oh God, Second Skin was such a good episode.
Yeah.
Especially the Seventh Rule interview with Nana. Deep diving into that episode.
Yeah.
Oh. Well done, Anne-Marie. Well done.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Nana on the Seventh Rule. Check that out. Check out our review of Second Skin on the Seventh Rule. What were you saying, Bonnie?
No. I was just I lost the screen, so I was.
There were some really beautiful ones too. Like it was so well done. They went through people from behind the camera and in front.
Yep.
And they would show like a picture of them, usually if they were in front of the camera, or like holding, for example, the phaser rifle from TOS, and just talk about their Star Trek role, but then also like some highlights of their whole career. And a lot of these people had careers spanning like 7-8 decades and just did like legendary things in Star Trek and not. And the guy who did the phaser rifle, first of all, after he passed away, it went for like $650,000 in auction. But also he made the game of life. Like people are like such amazing heavy hitters, and just like is mind-boggling. It was so respectful and tastefully done. I watched it a few times. So it's up on the Daily Star Trek News YouTube channel. And then there's a link also to in this article, they also have the link to the video, but then they have like a more expanded biography section for each person in the in memoriam, just because there was so much to cover. Like all of these people had such amazing careers. And I think there was like a team of 5 amazing devoted Star Trek fans who really put together like a really beautiful like memorial for them.
Probably the most recognizable name in there was like Kai Opaka. Where that's
Camille Saviola.
Yeah.
So amazing. I went to a Broadway memorial for her too. That was amazing.
You would.
So like it was amazing. They had like all of her original Broadway like most memorable scenes playing.
I just want everybody to know that this image of the Gorn and Kirk, don't worry, Bobby Clark and William Shatner are still alive.
I was about to say, I was like, wait, Bobby Clark.
DeForest,
what?
TV researcher
I still
who
have a
advised
chance.
Star Trek on the Gorn and Stardate.
Got it. I panicked for a second too. I thought Bobby Clark, no.
Oh, and Richard Arnold was another like
that was
one who just gave like we're so lucky we had that beautiful interview with him on Virtual TrekCon 1.
Yes, we did. We were very fortunate to have him
amazing.
in an interview on a Virtual TrekCon. He was just like this wealth of knowledge and storytelling. I mean, it's one thing when people have been there and they've done that and they know all the stories, but it's another thing when they're actually willing to share these stories and be a storyteller and be super friendly and fun. He laughed at 7 out of 8 of my jokes. So he was just a great guy.
That's the bar.
He was polite.
He was very polite.
But also Larry Nemechek on his Trek Files Star Trek podcast on Roddenberry Network, he did some really great interviews with Richard Arnold too that are obviously still up because they're on a podcast. But just such amazing stories. Like what an amazing life.
Oh, Christopher Plummer.
I forgot about him.
Don't even get me started on Christopher
Yeah, that's a big
Plummer.
one. Yeah.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Christopher Plummer.
He was really sweet because before I got into Star Trek, my grandma and I both were really into sending away for autographs, and I got his, and it came in like a year before he passed. It finally came back, so I have his autograph.
Was she a Sound of Music fan? Your grandma?
Oh yeah.
Just my mom's a big Sound of Music fan. I thought that was probably it.
Oh yeah. Really, well, you want to know what sucks? Back in November, I sent an autograph request to Betty White.
Oh
no.
So now I'm just like depressed as heck for when the return envelope comes back and just is like, sorry.
Oh yeah.
Depressing.
What a legend. Yeah.
So I was going to send one to Dick Van Dyke, but now I'm afraid that I'm going to jinx it or something.
Yeah, no more autographs.
He's delightful. He's a member of the Magic Castle.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Also, another person that passed away was veteran producer Jeffrey M. Hayes, who helped develop Star Trek: The Next Generation. Don't know too much about him, but if he helped develop TNG, he can't be all that bad, right?
Then thank you, Jeffrey. Yeah.
Oh, him a huge bet.
Just going down the list. By the way, this is dailystartreknews.com. You owe it to yourself to check that website out. Really cool stuff, really interesting, really fun.
They have a great newsletter too. People can just sign up for, as well as a weekly show on Saturdays.
There's so much I don't know.
And with an amazing calendar of events put together by Marina Kravchuk.
Who's in the chat right now?
Good friend Marina. Shout out to
Marina.
Marina Kravchuk. She's our good buddy, and you said she's in the chat right now?
Yeah.
Yep.
She's everywhere at all times.
She is. Henry Darrow, who played both a Badmiral, we know the Badmiral
Yeah.
Admiral.
trope, and Chakotay's father in Star Trek.
Mhm.
I don't know what this is. Oh, costume
Costume
designer
Oh.
Gorgeous.
Robert Fletcher. He made the cleavage shirt here.
Mhm.
The
Yes.
Khan Anne-Marie, what's Khan's last name?
Okay, you know that I always confuse these. Sing.
Yes.
Sing.
Very good.
Yep, got it. See, that's not so tough.
Not soon. Yeah,
Ding, 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 ding.
Sing,
What does
sing,
she
sing,
win,
sing, sing.
Ryan?
I know.
She wins the next
Fine.
sad thing to look at.
Oh.
She played Mary Linda Rapalai, maybe. Played Star Trek's Irina in The Way to Eden. Oh, renewed knees.
I was gonna say, you need any knee replacements?
Novelist Margaret Wander Bonanno.
That's an awesome last name.
Yeah. Cool hair too.
The silver streak in the middle really ties it together nicely.
Oh,
That's
here's
another thing. I
another
wish
one.
I had better hair now.
Your hair is excellent.
It's a
And-
mess.
And you tell it well. Felix Silla, of course, the Addams Family cousin, It, and Star Trek Telosian. Remember
See,
him?
that's the hair I want.
Television.
Which I'm hoping the middle.
Yeah, yeah.
I've already got that pretty much.
Aw. It would make putting it, I wouldn't have to spend money on wig caps. So
Makes it
So,
easier.
we don't have to go
Oh,
through
for
all
sure.
of these because there's a lot of them, but everybody at home, please go check that out, and spare some thoughts for these amazing people that we know so well. And remember
Oh,
fondly,
Yeah.
I love Galen.
Clarence Williams, that's a big one.
Galen had
Oh
he
my
lived to a good old
gosh.
age, didn't he? I think did he live
Yes,
to like
he was one of the
106?
people who had like an 8-decade career or something.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Wow.
Lisa Baines was so sad. She got hit by a hit and run like a couple blocks.
Oh.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I remember that story coming through and I just was like,
Nuts.
wait, what?
Yeah, it was like
Mhm.
5 blocks up from my apartment. It's just crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Mm.
Oh.
So many amazing people.
Yeah.
We're just so lucky we have their legacy to
Oh,
remember.
Burke,
like,
he was a
for
really nice
forever.
guy.
Yeah.
All these
Aw.
recognizable faces.
Yes.
Oh.
Oh, was this the
Yes. He
phaser
Phaser
rifle you're
rifle.
talking about? Yeah, in Caretaker.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh
Stanny.
my
Okay,
Wow.
so and there are a few more. So everybody go check that out and spare some. Oh, remember this guy? He was in a
Mhm.
couple episodes. He played
Yeah,
Pharrell.
Pharrell.
Mhm.
The other half to one of my favorite couples.
Aw.
And there's
There's
Yeah,
Kyle
fabulous.
Paka.
Kyle Paka, as you mentioned.
That was a sad. Oh my gosh, this
Oh,
one wrecked me.
That's a heartbreak.
That's
Yeah.
especially for
Stockwell.
Quantum Leap fans. Yeah.
And,
Insane.
and be
Yep.
at Battlestar too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Yeah, he was in
No,
he
that
was in
one-
so many different franchises.
It was
sci-fi
so
franchises.
sad too because he had just so many strokes and like
Mm.
it's one of those where you're just like, oh gosh, I'm waiting. I don't want this to happen. I don't want this to happen, and then it just pops up and you're just like, it sucks.
Hmm. He had multiple strokes. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, the man was pretty much a chimney with the cigars on Quantum Leap, but
Right.
he was the amount of stories that came out, like Scott Bakula talking about in interviews, talking about how he was on Enterprise and just Quantum Leap and everything. It's amazing.
Wow. It's so
Wow.
sad.
Yeah. Tierney Beekman wrote, and now we're all crying.
Yeah.
Aw,
Jeez. I'm all depressed now. Thanks a lot, Ryan.
yeah.
Yeah.
Should do some trivia. Cheer up.
So maybe
Yeah.
we should have done the in memoriam first, and then the hopes for 2022
There you
and all
go.
the fun and excitement.
There
Now
we
just
go.
I
Yeah,
just
but
feel
at least
like-
we have their memory for forever.
Yeah, I feel like these people, they
True.
did so much for us, whether they meant to or not. They were a part of our lives, and we should just spare a minute to think about them and honor
Yeah.
them, and go check out that website and point out your favorite ones, and maybe do a social media post about what they meant to you. We also had a fun thing to discuss that we're not going to have time for, but next week.
Wait a minute. I won't
I
be here
know.
next week.
We could be fast.
Okay, fine, real fast. But it's already okay.
We can do it.
But lightning
I have to
round.
get up the earliest, and I want to do it.
All right. So everybody at home, play along. I saw something on Twitter. I'm sorry. Usually we like to cite our sources. If you were the person that tweeted this, thanks. But here's the person said on Twitter, if you could be best friends with anybody in the Star Trek universe, who would it be? So I thought that'd be fun to ask everybody that question. Bonnie hates this question. She's like, this is too hard.
I
And
know.
Bonnie, you're not
why?
allowed to say Murph.
Okay.
Or Rock Talk.
Yeah, no, I'll probably keep it. I feel like I'm already too close to the Prodigy cast. I'll keep it like old school. I'm
All
thinking.
Does anybody have any Muhammad's
Oh.
ready?
I'm ready. Phlox, unquestionably.
Oh,
I would have
that's
Wow.
I would have a
fine.
blast with Phlox.
Wow, that's true.
See that.
I want that show.
I'm assuming you mean for his medical knowledge and stuff, right?
His
Not
personality too, his inquisitive nature, how he likes exploring all these different
Chinese
species and thinking about them.
restaurants.
And he's really interested in biology. He has this like whole set of animals in his sick bay. We would have a blast.
He also has a lot of crazy extracurricular activities.
Yes,
I'm not
that's the
touching
best
those.
part.
That's why I wanted,
Yeah.
what about you, Katie? Who's your Star Trek bestie in a perfect world?
Oh gosh, can I have 3? Because I can't pick.
Yes.
I have a group.
Of course.
Oh, Sex in the
Like-
City.
Yes, exactly. Although with Tom Paris thrown in, and so
He
I
wouldn't
would go
mind
with-
that one bit.
He's Mr. Big.
Nope.
not at all. But I would go with Janeway, Tom Paris, and Tendi. Because I'm definitely a lot like Tendi. I just love Janeway because she's a badass. And Tom, I feel like would chase tornadoes with me. So that's the 3 that I always have.
Oh, cute.
Wow, very
You
good.
guys can brunch.
Anne Marie's best friend will be Loxana Troy.
I mean, she's my idol, but my best friend would be Jadzia Dax because she'll be like a really great wing woman
Oh.
to go out with.
Oh yeah.
Heck
Yeah, we'll have
yes.
tons of fun. Yeah.
Oh gosh, this is
I
so
want to add her
hard.
to the group now.
Yeah, right. I know. I was like, I need like a harem.
Yeah.
That might not be the right word to use. No, let's see. I mean, I
You're with Phlox, you
definitely
could have a
love.
harem.
That's true.
Yeah,
There it is.
Love-
There it is.
I would love to be friends with Data because I'm a huge Sherlock Holmes fan. So I feel like he and I could go and do some Sherlock Holmes holodeck adventures. I feel like Tilly and I would be besties, probably, but either that or we'd be worst enemies because we're probably too much alike. I feel like we're personality wise, we would be like identical. And people would probably assume we were related too. So I don't know. It could work in our favor. Oh man. Yeah. I'd love Jadzia Dax would be fun. Like she was always so fun to go like on adventures with and
We can all go out.
yeah, let's go out for drinks. I want to sing. I want to sing with the doctor. Yeah, there's so
Oh,
much I want
yeah.
to do. Yeah.
We can go to Vix.
Apo rub.
I feel like Quarks and I would be friends. I feel like Quark and I would be.
Oh,
I think, like once you
Friends
got
and
over the
And
fact
then we
that
can become lovers.
I have a feeling like he and
have such
I
a
could
crush
like.
on him.
Oh,
On
okay.
Quark?
I feel like he and I could
Have you met
play
Anne Marie?
some games and
Yeah.
I used to live in Vegas. I think I feel like I would fit in. Like, go play.
Dumbo!
Yeah, I'd go play all the
Ooh,
games.
you'll
and,
give
like,
him a run for his platinum.
That's right. Press Latinum up in here. Let's go.
So for me, I think I would say like my first thought was that I would love to be best friends with Jake Sisko because if he's anything like Sirach Lofton, I would enjoy his company very much.
Aw,
But then I was
that's
like,
cute.
well, also Nog too. And then I figured I'd probably be a third wheel there, wouldn't I? I'd be like, hey, besties. And they'd like look at each other and then like look
Aw.
back at me and be like, hey, why don't you go get us a round of drinks? And I'd go and then they'd be gone. or like throwing like those
Aw.
mites or whatever on those fleas on people's backs.
I'll
when I
tell
get
you,
back.
Oh,
a
yeah.
tricycle is more stable than a bike, so it's nothing wrong with being a third wheel.
Okay, very good.
Oh,
take
but
that.
technically
I like that.
tricycles have 4 wheels, even though there's 3. 'Cause
Okay,
they have the,
so one of those big
'cause they have
wheel
the
ones
front
that they have on
wheel.
the playground.
Big
because you know
wheel,
they have
I
like the
love
front
those.
wheel, and then they have the back wheel, and then you have the 2 trainer
Oh,
wheels,
a
right?
penny farthing.
Yeah.
It's just get a
Confusing.
whole group.
So if I don't do Jake and Nog, then my bestie would be Spot for sure. That's a Spot
Oh my
or Lore.
gosh.
A grudge.
Aw.
Lore.
Lord.
Or-
Oh my
Mm.
god.
Not Grudge. Not Grudge.
Grudge.
Grudge doesn't have enough
We're
personality.
staying
for
away
me.
from you and Lord at the bar.
Grudge is a queen.
Right.
You can't befriend royalty like that. Yeah.
You have to earn it.
You have to earn that friendship.
All right. So it's time for the Star Trek Day trivia question of the day.
Oh no.
And it goes a little something like this. What type of weapon technology does a phaser use? Is it A, 0-point energy, B, plasma, C, particle beam, or D, antimatter? Once again, if you know the answer, don't say it yet.
Oh.
I don't
I know what it isn't.
The question is, what type of weapons technology does a phaser use? A, 0-point energy, B, plasma, C, particle beam, or D, antimatter? Okay.
Remember last week's question that was like, what's the Kelpian on Discovery's name?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
this one's
some,
better.
like, diversity and difficulty.
So while everybody's putting in their answers very quickly, I do want to point out that yesterday we had the 7th Rule put up a new episode. What was it? Favor the Bold. That was season 6, episode 5, Favor the Bold. That is up right now on youtube.com/the 7th Rule. That is such a good episode, you guys. So go check it out. Also on Wednesday, Falling Tower is going to premiere the live episode or live premiere of our review of Silverhawks. Do you remember Silverhawks, that cartoon from like the 80s? Well, we are reviewing the first episode with special guest host, Dr. Muhammad Noor.
Oh.
Hey.
And the guest, of course, will be the birthday girl, Melissa Longo. So everybody check that out. This is the last episode before Michael Kenyon Rosenberg returns triumphantly from his kidney replacement surgery. Katie's happy because she won the office pool on when he would return. So congratulations. Congratulations. You've got $17 in Venmo coming your way. Okay. And lastly, Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific, that is 9 p.m. Eastern or whatever, Bonnie Belgie, aka Bonnie Gordon, will be reviewing episode 6, not reviewing, we say discussing episode 6,
Yeah,
6 of
recapping.
Prodigy's first season with myself and Sirach Lofton on the 7th Rule. That's the 7th Rule, youtube.com/the 7th Rule, and everywhere else on social media as the 7th Rule. Bonnie, where can
Yes.
people find you online?
Everywhere. You can find me all over social media at Bonnie Bell G. That's Twitter, Instagram. I guess I do TikTok now. Facebook.
Yes.
Oh, no.
I know. It's
Welcome to my world.
I blew up on with Mrs. Claus. Not blew up. I just had fun doing
It was great.
Mrs. Claus do it. Oh, thank you. I was like, might as well. I'm in this costume. I
you.
might as well use it. Yeah, so you can find me all over there. Please reach out. Instagram, Twitter, whatever. I'm pretty open. Just, shoot me a tweet and I can geek out with you on a regular basis. And keep an eye on my social media. I do a lot of Comic-Con appearances and different things like that.
Yeah.
Obviously with COVID, it's a little iffy of what the schedule is going to be, but I do have some appearances coming up in a few months. So keep an eye on that. And I'm
Nice.
working on a solo album, so keep an eye on that as well.
Ooh.
Awesome.
Which includes a Star Trek track.
Also,
Hey.
everybody in the live chat, don't you think Bonnie should just go by Bonnie Bell G? That's such a cool nickname. Bonnie Bell G.
The Star Trek track in the computer voice.
Yeah.
Pardon? Oh no, but it's a medley, so it's a mashup, and so it's multiple. I mean, it's gonna be expensive to get the rights to everything, but I'm doing it anyway.
Star Trekking.
Mechanical licensing.
So check her out. That's Bonnie Bell G at Bonnie Bell G. Mohammed, where are you on the internet, by the way?
Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all at Mafnoor, M like Michael, A F like Frank, Noor, and like November, OOR. And on YouTube, I have a series called BioTrekkie Explains, or BioTrekkie with the Admiral. So if you just search YouTube for BioTrekkie with 2 Ks and then an IE at the end, it'll come up.
And who's the Admiral in BioTrekkie and the Admiral?
The Admiral is Admiral Admiral Katrina Cornwell, who is played by actress Jane Brooke, who plays that character in the show. But yeah,
Awesome.
we reviewed season 3 episodes of Discovery previously, and fairly soon we'll be releasing some discussions of season 4. So looking forward to that.
Awesome. What about you, Anne-Marie? Dr. Anne-Marie Siegel, I mean.
Twitter at Anne-Marie Siegel 1. So ANNMARIESEGAL, the number 1.
Nice. Speaking of number 1, what about you, meteorologist Katie?
Yes, so you guys can find me really anywhere. I'm on YouTube, I'm on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and it's all at weather_Katie. But on YouTube, I am so many random fandoms, so I am popping it in the chat for anyone who doesn't feel like typing that in.
Amazing.
And for everybody at home, just Google Ryan T. Husk if you'd like to lurk around and send me friend requests that I won't see, or if you want to follow me on Twitter or whatever like that, just Google Ryan T. Husk and find me on social media, but especially on the 7th Rule, Falling Tower, and Virtual TrekCon on YouTube. Those are all great places. By the way, everybody at home, before we give you the answer to this trivia question, I know you're dying to know, we are going to keep teasing this, but Virtual TrekCon has got the most enormous announcement to make very soon. So hang on to your hats, hang on to your Klingon foreheads, you guys, because this is going to blow Captain Baudet's transparent brain or skull.
Transparent.
Joran earrings, hold them.
Hang on to that. Okay, so it seems like most people in unison were answering C. That's J.R. Poole, Frankie Johnson, Billy Chung, Walt Turner, Chuck A, Draco Rex, the Great Merman. Oh, hey there, Merman. Finally, we get to meet you. Tierney says C. Linda, Gaylinda, David Gregory. Everybody says C practically. The answer is, it is C. Particle beam. Bonnie, can you tell us?
Oh gosh. What's the answer?
Can you tell us the answer in computer voice?
The answer is C. Particle beam.
Nice. That's awesome.
Amazing.
All right. I think that does it for all of us. Everybody at home, hey, if you like music like I do, dude, do you remember Black Sabbath's We Sold Our Soul for Rock and Roll? That really good kind of best of album that came out in the 90s. Turns out they remastered everything in 2014. I just found it today. It's so freaking good. Wow. Do yourself a favor. They've been around since 1968. They were named in 1969, though. That's like freaking forever ago, 54 years ago. The songs are just the best. Everybody loves Black Sabbath. And if you don't, it's because you haven't heard them yet. They're the granddaddies of heavy metal. We owe them everything if you like metal, and you should. Sorry, Anne-Marie, that this last 30 seconds bored the hell out of you, but check them out.
No, it's fun.
And a very special thanks to Bonnie for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, y'all. Thank you. I love coming on here.
Oh, cool. See you next week, everybody. No. Mohammed, Anne-Marie, and Katie, thank you for playing along. And everybody at home, thank you all for playing along. And if you are looking for all the news about Prodigy and Star Trek and Bonnie Bell G, put it on. Oh, a snort.
Yeah, those come out.
Just put it on the main viewer.